Senator from Tennessee.
Thank you, Mr. President. I tell you, it is such an honor to join my colleagues and talk for a few minutes about our Supreme Court nominee, Judge Barrett. And in the Judiciary Committee, where I hold a seat, we were doing one of our most important duties, our constitutional duty, to provide advice and consent regarding the President's nominee for the Supreme Court. And indeed, we do this with all of our federal judges that come before us. And last week, we fulfilled that highest level of duty as we examined Judge Barrett's record, her character, and to see if she was qualified to sit on the Supreme Court. And as you were hearing from my colleagues today, yes, indeed, she is qualified. Now, I will tell you, Mr. President, that unfortunately some of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle spent their time fishing for sound bites and feigning confusion over the fact that Judge Barrett takes her cues from the Constitution and not from the latest polling and not from the 24-hour news cycle. Honestly, I think that said more about them than it did about her. And this is what happens when leaders who really ought to know better allow politics to take control of their vetting process, of their thought process. That's what most Americans took away from those hearings last week, that in the eyes of those on the Democratic side of the dais, there was no way that Judge Amy Coney Barrett was ever going to make them happy, because to them, only answers that tracked with their views on the left, their views on abortion, on religion, on socialized medicine would pass muster. This is an absurd standard, I will tell you, and it is no standard at all, because those views shift and change depending on what the loudest megaphone on the National Mall has to say on any given day. And so, in the interest of refocusing on our duty to offer advice and consent, I think we could all stand a quick recap of last week's hearing. Here's what we know. Judge Barrett is exceptionally smart, she's focused, and she is a mindful jurist. Her colleagues, students, former clerks, and professional associates from all backgrounds and all worldviews wholeheartedly believe she is competent and prepared to hold a seat on the Supreme Court. Her record is consistent with the originalist lens she puts over the cases and controversies that come across her desk. Over the course of 2 days of intense questioning, she did not contradict that record or violate the rules of judicial ethics by offering a preview of future rulings. The American Bar Association rated her as well qualified to serve on the court. And based on the testimony and evidence offered to the committee, I will tell you, I definitely agree with them. I will vote to confirm Judge Barrett to the Supreme Court, and I would encourage all my colleagues who plan on voting no to think long and hard about why that is. And if they have not taken the time to get to know Judge Barrett, her background, her record, I encourage them to get to know a little bit about her, and also to ask themselves, how smart was it to have spent the past month signaling their willingness to dismantle our constitutional framework to score a few cheap points against the White House during a political season. I yield the floor.